I'm Polly. I'm a mom, a wife, a pelvic floor physical therapist, and founder of No Kegels University. I have helped thousands of women stop leaking, enjoy intimacy, and feel proud of their bodies, even after having kids. After years of listening to women wonder why no one talks about leaking, how they should properly recover after having a baby, and that pleasurable intimacy is possible, I started to get real frustrated because I believe that no mom or woman should struggle when there are answers. It became my mission to shed light on the lack of postpartum care and the lack of discussion on issues that relate to women and their health, even if they can be uncomfortable sometimes. It also became my mission to change the conversation on women's health, the pelvic floor, and more. Here we go. Episode 46, How to Balance Motherhood and Business with Grace with Ashley Lewis. I am so wildly excited to share this conversation with you with an incredible friend of mine, Ashley Lewis. So let me first introduce you to her. Ashley Lewis is the founder and creator of Fearless Women, a coaching community where she serves as a certified master life coach. Not only is she remarkable at how she coaches women, but she relies on her success in affiliate programs where she serves as one of the top leaders and where she was able to grace her company's stage at their annual event this year and give a keynote speech. She resides in Texas with her cowboy husband and her darling daughter. She has said, "Walk in faith, don't stand in fear." This interview will serve you as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, and whether or not you have a business or you want a business, or even if you don't have a business. You'll notice the grace in which she has overcome many of her trials and how she has taken those trials and has pulled strengths and lessons that she so willingly and openly shares. She has become one of my dear friends from afar, and I'm so privileged to be able to share this conversation with you. And I sure hope it blesses your life like it did mine. Well, on today's podcast, I have my sweet friend Ashley here, who I look up to not only in business, but in motherhood and the way in which she shows up as a wife and supports her husband. And because this all pertains to women's health, I thought that she would be an outstanding guest on this podcast. So, Ashley, welcome to Beyond the V.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am honestly so excited to be here. And if you guys know anything about Polly, you know how kind her heart is. So when she asked me, I was like, yes, of course. I would love to jump on here for sure.
Well, great. So before we get started with all the questions, or at least some of the things that I would love for you to share with everyone, why don't you give us just a little bit about maybe not necessarily where you live, unless you want to, but just kind of where you are at in life right now.
Okay. So I am actually in Texas. We kind of a little bit about me. So we take care of cattle. My husband trains horses, and I have a little girl, and I grew up in a household where my mom took care of the cattle and my dad, he was the sports guy and all that good stuff. And so I played sports growing up. I really didn't know anything about the cattle thing or horses or anything like that. And so I went off and I played college ball and I got a great corporate America job. And then I met my husband, who's the cowboy of cowboys, and he's a hand with a horse, and he put me on a horse, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So just kind of like motherhood, right? God puts a baby in your hand and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but you learn and you grow and he gives you instincts, right? So it's just kind of one of those things, and where I'm at in life where it's just learning, a learning experience for sure.
Yes, and it's fun to watch you figure it out, because from my end, you're doing such a great job which I think that's probably why I love your story so much, but I also think it has created the woman that you are and has been such a help to so many women in your coaching business. But one of the things that I find so admirable and so inspiring is how you and your husband got married. You put your nose down, you got to work to change your life. That's truly one of my favorite stories. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that story and maybe even telling us a little bit about, like, if you had a mantra or something in particular that you focused on during that hustle and grind that kept you going during those tough days for you to get to where you are now?
Yeah, of course. I would love to. Honestly, when I look at my story, I'm like, is this real? Is this real life? Right? Just because it's just so, I mean, it's life. It's up and down and there's high points and low points and it's just crazy how God creates you and puts you on a journey to make you who you are, right? So I played ball in college, got a college degree, and got an amazing corporate America job. That's kind of what you did. That's American dream, right? And so I was worked for the number one company in the whole entire nation in orthopedic sales. So I did sports medicine, I did trauma, I did total joints. I mean, I did it all. So I was in and out of surgeries all day long. And I love what I did just because I'd gone through two ACLs, surgeries, and it's just bringing people back whole again, helping people and seeing that upward trend for them was huge for me. But I worked with every orthopedic surgeon in my area. I was the fifth woman in the whole entire nation that did what I did. So that'll tell you the type of job I had. I had an amazing job. It was very, very good. Now, the downsides of that is every surgeon's time was my time. So I would work 7 days a week on call. Day surgeries would end at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then trauma surgeries would start up. There were some days out of the week where I'd sleep in my car 3 days out of the week. Like it was just hectic. I
Oh my
missed
gosh.
holidays. I missed Thanksgiving. I missed all family events. And I was just dedicated to my job, and that's where I had to be, right? Um, so fast forward, I met my husband, and again, he's a cowboy. I grew up kind of in that world, but not completely. And I would go at between surgeries, and or whenever I was finally off, and go ride horses and learn that type of stuff, and it was so much fun. And he actually took a job 6 hours away, and it was on a huge ranch. I don't know if I've ever heard of the O6 Ranch, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'd never been. He moved. There were no hospitals around, and it was either live 6 hours away or have no job, right? And
Oh
if you
gosh.
yeah, if you know anything about a cowboy's income, you know that they don't make a lot. It's just kind of the more of the way of the life. Um, and for me, I love the way of life, but at that point, I was like, why can't I have both? Right. So
Mm.
I found I was run down. I was sick and tired, right? And my sister in law, she came in and she had this network marketing company that one, she lost 85 pounds with it. Two, she was supporting her little girl on her own. And so I remember sitting in my floor vividly with her, and we were about to go out to eat, and my phone went off and I got called out for another surgery. And I had mono at that point just because I was so run down. I was just exhausted. And I remember just tears falling and saying, all right, what do I have to do? And within 2 months of that, I replaced that orthopedic job's income, and I moved 6 hours into the unknown. And let me tell you, it was unknown. I walked into a shack, an absolute shack. So you guys, you think about this. I go from fifth in the nation on what I do. I have an amazing job, and I walk into a shack. There is grass growing through the floor. There is
Oh
two.
no.
Yes, it was terrible. Grass growing floor as you walked in. There's tin cabinets, and there's old cans of green beans and corn that are just so rusted through that you can't even get them off the cabinets. The sink is rusted through where you can't fill up your water to wash your dishes completely.
Oh my
The
word.
closet was so termite infested, you would touch it and the wood would just crumble. There were holes in the windowsills. Like, the list can go on, right? I cried. I was like, I
Bet.
just gave up everything for this, right? And fast forward, I was embarrassed to tell my family where I lived, what I lived in. And obviously, they couldn't come visit me, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, that was a point to where I was like, I can change this. Yes, I love the cowboy lifestyle. Yes, I love what it has to offer, but why can't I have both? Right? So for me, I put my head down and I went with the ranch every single day horseback. But the nice thing about network marketing or building a business from your phone is you can do it from your phone. So I was working horseback. I was working gathering cattle. I was working wee hours of the night. I was working around the clock to make a different life for ourselves. And within probably 3 months of living in the shack, we hit about 10 grand a month. And that was life changing, right? And fast forward, he took another job on another ranch, and which this was an upgrade. So excited. The house, they just remodeled it. It was beautiful. There were no grass going through the floor. There were no holes in the walls. I mean, it was a beautiful home. And the only downfall was there was absolutely no service. There was no service. They did not want holes in their walls, so you couldn't hang curtains. You couldn't have TV. We didn't have TV for probably about 4 months, and then we figured out how to get TV. But I couldn't get internet out there. There was no service that would provide internet, right? So, what happens to an online business that you work from your phone when you have no service, no internet, no way to make your contacts, right? I was used to just going and working on the ranch. And so, in every high, there's a low. My business dropped because I wasn't actively working. I didn't have service, I didn't have internet, and I had two of the best excuses in the world, right? So I let myself settle. I let myself settle with, okay, we're just going to live this way of life. And as we started talking more on a family and wanting to be closer to family and things like that, we couldn't make a life off of his income. We couldn't make a life living where we were living. And the only way that I knew how to do that was I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and I'll go back for surgeries, and hospitals were 2 hours away. I would get an apartment there and just work surgeries and then work this business on the side, build up enough to go buy a home wherever we wanted to go and move from there, right? So that was my way out. Go live away from my husband, 2 hours away, go back to the grind of no family, no time, no anything. And my goal always was, because my mom was always the mom that was there, the mom that was present. And so was my dad. And I wanted to be that mom for my baby one day, right? And the only way I could do that was making something work, whether it was surgeries, but I couldn't be the mom I wanted to be with that job. The only way I could be the mom I wanted to be is if I put my head down with my online business. And so I prayed about it. And that night, God said, He said, one more chance, Ashley. Give it one more chance and give it all you got. And it gives me goosebumps just because I remember that so clearly. And that next morning, I got up and I drove 10 miles to the side of the highway. And if you guys know anything about where we lived, it's close to the border. It's not the safest. And a blonde haired girl sitting on the side of the road for hours on hours isn't safe. I sat on the side of that road day in, day out. My car would overheat, that my phone would overheat, and it was just a constant vicious cycle. But within 4 months, we were making about 20 grand a month of endlessly putting time in and time out. And through that time, the only thing that was going through my head is hardships make you, excuses break you. And from that day forward, I decided I was never going to let an excuse get in my way. And I was going to be thankful for every single hardship that was placed in my way because I know it makes me. So that was my mantra. Excuses break you, hardships make you. And that's what I've lived by from here on out. From about a year later, we own our own home, we own our own land, cattle, horses, all the things. We no longer live in shacks. And now I'm the mom that's present. I'm the mom that's here 24/7 with my baby girl. And I'm the mom that juggles two businesses. I still work my network marketing business, and now I'm through a coaching business that I honestly love because I've been through the hardships. I've been through the trials and the tributes of trying to build a business online and juggle it all. And now I just help women with families wanting more, not wanting to settle, find that more and find their groove and fast track their business to find their dreams. And that's what God has really pulled me to do and placed in my path for sure.
I want to quickly interrupt and tell you it's here. Bye Bye Leakage, the comprehensive program for pelvic floor strengthening. I recently updated it and I can't wait for you to join. I want you to stop doing Kegels and wondering if they're even working or if you're doing them right. You deserve to know how to effectively and successfully strengthen your pelvic floor, stop leaking when you cough, laugh, jump, sneeze, have pain-free intimacy, improve your energy, and feel proud of your body, even after having kids. Bye Bye Leakage is well worth over $3,000, but I'm offering it to you today for less than a quarter of that price. There are 12 sessions, and each session outlines the same programming that I have given to my patients in the clinic for the past 13 years, where thousands of women have gotten the results that you're only dreaming of. Each session is full of exercises, tips, tricks, and trainings. There's even roadmaps included in Bye Bye Leakage for pregnancy, postpartum, and prolapse. This program has been designed to give you a framework to last you a lifetime. I've also included 3 bonus programs just for you: End the Urgency, Trampoline Strong, and Diastasis Recti 101. You can get it in the show notes, on my website, or in the link in my bio on Instagram at BeyondTheV by Polly. Oh, I love that so much. And I think that leads me to my next question for you is that because you've worked so hard to get here, you have been so intentional as a mom and how you spend time with your little one. So do you mind sharing? I know we've talked about this before, but I would love for everyone else to kind of have some of your tips and tricks and how you make everything so intentional with the time that you spend with your little one and as a mom and a wife.
Okay, so honestly, it's been a huge learning process juggling it all. The two businesses, raising my little girl, cooking all the meals, doing all the things, still being a wife, just because you get in that groove and your shoulders feel so heavy. But for me, what I do each and every day is the night before, I'm going to write down my top income producing activities. So the main things that I need to get done from top to bottom, right? And I'm not going to say, hey, I got to get this done by this time, or hey, I have to get this done by this time, because honestly, if you're a mom, you know that that's not possible. There's no way that you're going to say, okay, my little one has to go to sleep this time. There's days where they're sick, they just want to cuddle. Like there's those days of just being a mom, right? And you don't get through your whole entire list. And that's where I've learned to give myself some grace and understand that it may not get done right then, but it is going to get done, right? So that's why I write everything in a just a kind of a line on my top income producing activities to the least income producing activities. Or it could be the most important activities to the least important activities that have to get done for that day, right? And so I work on those. I get up before my little one. I do my devotional. I get my mind right. I get my heart right. And then I take on the day. And I think that's something that a lot of moms have struggled with, because it's hard to put yourself first, because you want to get everything done, take care of them, and then get everything done. And I've been in that position. You get to a point to where you're at zero and you can't give from an empty cup, right? So you got to fill your cup because you're not going to be able to take on that day with an empty cup. So go through, take care of you, get those top two income producing activities done. So, what I mean by income producing activities is I mean what brings in a good residual income, what's bringing in a that's going to have the biggest impact on your income or a big impact on your day. So, you're going to get those done first. Now, your little one may wake up at 7:30, 8:30. She may wake up at 6 or 5. But as long as you have one or two of those done before they're awake, great. You've got one of your biggest tasks done for the day. And if you don't get anything else done for that day, that's okay. Because we know as a mom, a wife, a business owner, things happen. But you got a big portion of what you need to get done for that day done, right? And whatever I didn't get done for that day, I'm going to move to the next day to the top and just start working my way down. And I work through naps. I work after she goes to bed, those times. So I just find little nooks and crannies to where I can work, but I'm working with intention every second that I get. That's the main thing. There's no busy work. It's intentional work. And there's a difference between the two. And I think if you set that time and you're okay, I have 10 minutes here. What do I need to get done? And you have what you need to get done. That's where you spend a lot of time thinking of what you need to do versus already having it done the night before and what you need to do. But that's kind of how I juggle it all. Get your mind right, your heart right, wake up before they get up, get your most important or top income producing activities done first and work through the day. But give yourself grace and keep hitting that wheel and moving forward. And when it's time to spend time with the little ones, spend time with your husbands, be intentional with that time too. I think my biggest word for this is intentional because that's what's going to set you apart and that's what's going to get you the best relationships with your husband, with your kiddos, because you're there intentionally. You're not trying to be 12 different places at one time. But two, you're going to be intentional when you get time for your work, for your business, for your coaching, so on and so forth.
I love that. And I mean, we've talked about this before, but I think it's so applicable to so many women and to so many moms, whether you're trying to build a business or just even your business is caring for your home and doing all the chores and those types of things. No matter what your goals are, I think that that's applicable to so many different things.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
And my last question for you, if you got to decide and had control over when, or if you had a conversation with a group of women or maybe one woman in particular, and she walked away and you got to control the one message she took away from your conversation, what would you want her to know or to believe or to think after spending some time with you?
What I would tell a mom, a busy mom, a struggling mom that was needing help or needing a push or needing help with all the things on her shoulders is it's okay to take care of herself too. It's okay to give yourself some grace and it's okay to want more for yourself. Because the thing is, God chose her for the position that she's in. He chose her to have those strong shoulders. He chose her to take on the task she's carrying. And I think without a doubt, and this is what I do in my Fearless Women community, is not only is it a community for busy women, busy moms, entrepreneurs, so on and so forth, but she needs to realize that she is her biggest asset and nothing can take that away from her. He's given her all the tools, all the purpose, all the vision, everything that she needs to have more, be more, and do all the things, wear all the hats, and carry all the weight on her shoulders. She just needs someone to show her that she's capable of that, someone to show her that she is her biggest asset. And that's what we do in Fearless Women. And I know I keep mentioning the Fearless Women community, and that's my coaching community. That's where I bring busy moms, women, entrepreneurs, so on and so forth that come in and they are looking for guidance. They are looking to fast track their business. They are looking to find out how they are their biggest asset, find their purpose, find where they belong. And that's what we do in Fearless Women Community. What I do is I bring you in and I show you that you are your biggest asset. I show you that your mindset and how you're thinking right now, you can think differently and have a different outcome, right? I show you that no matter where your bank account is right now, it can always go up from here. I show you the tools, the methods on how you're going to change that and why God has given you every single asset that you need to succeed. And that's what we do in Fearless Women Community. I guide you, I hold your hand, I give you one-on-one coaching. You get coaching calls twice a week. I mean, there's 3 different levels. You can find me at www.coachingwithashleylewis.com. And I would love to have you a part of the community. I would love to, if anybody can relate with my story, if they're looking for more, they're tired of settling. And the thing is, what I am ready for and what God has called me to do is He keeps telling me to serve. And I'm ready to serve whoever is ready to grow, whoever is ready to step out of their comfort zone, whoever is ready to stop settling and become their biggest asset that they have. So that's what we do in Fearless Women Community. And Polly, I just thank you so much for having me on here today. It's been honestly phenomenal. And I love telling my story just because, like I said earlier, I look back and I'm like, dang, you did the dang thing, right? Excuses break you, hardships make you. Everybody, excuses break you, hardships make you. And that's where I'm going to leave you guys today. And thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you, Ashley. And I'll add and I'll end like I do every podcast. Remember, you're an heiress and a queen and everything in between. If you enjoyed this episode or even wondered if I can help you, check the show notes for more details. And to see what else I'm up to, follow me on the socials at BeyondTheV by Polly. Because I'm changing the conversation on women's health, the pelvic floor, and more, I still need your help. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend or two. See you next week.